Hello friends, this is Vibhor here. Welcome back to my channel and this is another video in my crypto series. Today we are going to talk about the two consensus models for validation of transactions in crypto world, the proof of work and the proof of stake. We'll look closely how the two mechanisms work and we will see which one is better than the other. Alright guys, to give you the background, whenever you do a transaction on your traditional stock exchange and you purchase shares or do any transactions over there, there is a centralized authority, a centralized organization which validates your transactions and which makes sure that there's no fraudulent activity happening. Now this can be NASDAQ, BSE, NSE, ASX or whichever country you are in. Based on that country, different stock exchange has their own organizations and validation authorities. But when it comes to the crypto world, there's no such authority. There's no validation authority as such which can validate a particular transaction. So if nobody validates that I can particularly sell one Bitcoin twice, so that does not happen and that should not happen in crypto world. That is where the consensus mechanism comes into picture. So in the crypto world, there are two consensus mechanisms which are overly popular. One is the proof of work, the other one is proof of stake. Now if we go to the background, when this all started in roughly around 2007 and Satoshi Nakamoto gave his white papers for the first blockchain and he developed the Bitcoin for the very first time. At that time he needed some mechanism through which the transactions can be validated. At that time proof of work was created. Now the entire proof of work mechanism is based on a very advanced form of mathematics called cryptography, and that is why the entire name of Bitcoin and further currencies after that is called cryptocurrency. Now this uses super complex mathematical equations that needs to be solved to validate any particular transaction, and you would need super high-end computers to solve these, which consumes electricity, and that's where the entire electricity debate is coming up, but we'll get to that in a minute in this video. Now no two equations in any two transactions are ever same in a blockchain. So if one transaction is solved by any computer on the node, any Bitcoin miner on the node, that particular transaction is said as validated and that transaction is said as approved. But there are some caveats and some limitations to that. Now when you talk about proof of work, it is a slow process. The Bitcoin blockchain as such can process only 7 transactions per second and each transaction takes 10 minutes to get validated. That's because in every 10 minutes a new block is created with all the transactions in those 10 minutes interval, and that block is linked to the previous block in the chain, which is further linked to a previous block in the chain. So all the blocks are in a chain. That is why this is called a blockchain technology. Now because there is a limitation of only 7 transactions per second, the transaction cost on this particular blockchain, which is Bitcoin, is extremely high. Even Ethereum, which also follows the same proof of work mechanism, is also built on the similar blockchain as Bitcoin. Over there also right now the transaction cost is extremely high. In 2009, when the transaction cost was at the peak and the network was at super congestion, one transaction for Bitcoin used to cost roughly around $40. So even if you want to transfer $10 worth of Bitcoin, you had to pay $40 for that. So that is why all these currencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum and all the currencies working on the proof of work consensus mechanism, they cannot be used as a everyday currency for an everyday use. Yes, if you want to go ahead and purchase one Tesla, if Elon Musk again allows for a Bitcoin, yes, you can do that, because over there $40-50 would not matter a lot. But if you want to go to your local store to purchase milk, this can never be used over there, because $40 just to purchase a $3 worth of milk, not doable. Now as I mentioned, Ethereum is also a major cryptocurrency that uses proof of work, but let me tell you one thing, Ethereum is right now transferring to ETH2, which is the new project in which they move their entire blockchain from proof of work to proof of stake mechanism. That's going to take a couple of years, but yes, that's happening. And what that's going to do is, right now Ethereum can deal with only 15 transactions at any particular time in the proof of work. In proof of stake, that can go to some thousands of transactions happening per second. So that's going to be very, very fast. And because it's going to be multiple transactions happening at the same time, the cost per transaction, the transaction cost is going to go super, super, super low. So that was about proof of work. What about proof of stake? So proof of stake was built in 2012 by two developers at that time, Scott Nadal and Sunny King. Now at that time in 2012, what these developers said was that just to maintain the entire Bitcoin network and keep it up and running, you have to spend roughly around 150,000 US dollars of electricity per day. Now guys, that was in 2012. Currently, today in 2021, it's around millions of dollars per day just to keep that network running. Now enough about the background. Vibhor, tell us how the entire network works. Right, so let's start with the proof of work. How does a proof of work validates a transaction? Now as I said, for Bitcoin, which works on proof of work, every 10 minutes a new block is created and all these blocks are linked in a chain. That is why it is called a blockchain transaction. Each block has got different transactions in itself and every transaction needs to be validated by someone in the proof of work mechanism. Now for this, somebody needs a super high-end computing power to solve all these particular equations that are attached to these transactions. Once a particular equation is solved for that transaction has gets marked as verified and validated. And the person who solves the random equations get to take the entire stake of the block. So if a block has got whatever, like say 10,000 transactions or whatever, like I'm just giving a weird number. So if a block has got some transactions, that block comes to me and my computer is able to solve the entire block's equation. I get to keep the entire money for that block for all the transaction fees on that block. That is called Bitcoin mining. Now issue over here is that not everybody get rewarded. So all of us who have got laptops, even like these MacBook Pros at home, we think that we can set up a mining rig on that, but essentially you need a very high-end computer to set up a mining rig which can solve these equations. Now to tell you one thing, the supercomputers that the companies in China have, 4 of the companies in China have got such large high-end supercomputers which are called ASICs over there, that they control more than 50% of the entire Bitcoin mining power in the entire world. Now that's where the entire problem begins. Because of the proof of work mechanism, only the people who are super wealthy, super rich, and the companies who can afford these huge supercomputers get all the mining power, and all the transactions that you do from one blockchain to another blockchain right now, the transaction fees, these goes to directly these Chinese companies or these big elaborated companies which has got these huge mining rigs set up. So then what about the proof of stake? So while proof of work rewards on number of equations solved, which is purely your computer's ability, proof of stake rewards based on the number of coins you have staked in that blockchain. So that's a game changer in itself. Those who have staked their coins would simply get the transaction fees proportionately to the amount of coins they have staked. So if a block has got 100 coins and in that stake I have put 1 coin, for that block whatever fees is generated for transactions, I'll get 1 by 100, that's 1% of that fee. So that's simple mathematics. Even being a small person in cryptocurrency, I have a fair chance of earning the transaction fees, of earning the mining power based on the amount of coins that I have staked in that system. Now let us see how this happens. The user who wants to stake their coins, they put that coin in a particular wallet. That wallet is frozen for the time being. So if I put the money in that wallet, I cannot take the money out for a defined period of time. In that period, whatever money is earned with regards to the transaction cost, I will get the proportionate cut on the amount of investment or amount of coins that I have staked. Now best part about that is that those who have staked their coins would want the system to work fairly. That's because if I do any fraudulent activity and I have got my coins staked in that network, when everybody in the Bitcoin network knows about that fraud, I'm going to lose my entire stake. So I'm not going to deal in any of the fraudulent activities and would validate the transactions properly. So these are the two mechanisms, proof of work, proof of stake. Which one is better? Now, according to me, proof of stake is better than proof of work, and I'll give you my reasons why I say so. First point is pretty obvious. The proof of work requires a lot of computing power. So simply saying, the higher companies, the bigger companies, they can mine more bitcoins. The people like us with small laptops, with MacBook Pros, with Mac or whatever kind of machines that we have at our home, we don't have any chance to mine any bitcoins. Secondly, these supercomputers run day and night, which consumes hell lot of electricity, and that's where the tweet from Elon Musk comes into picture. And that's true. The Bitcoin right now, the entire network that runs on Bitcoin, as per the latest study, the electricity consumed by the entire Bitcoin network is more than 150 countries total electricity supply taken individually. So that's super huge. The millions and millions of dollars of electricity is consumed in one day, and that means so much of oil is burnt just to mine bitcoins. Now this further slows down the economy because yes, you are mining Bitcoin. Yes, because of mining Bitcoin, you get a share of Bitcoin, which are the large companies. But the electricity cost that you are paying, that is still paid in fiat currency. So you are spending fiat currency to generate coins in the digital world. So yes, that is not a perfect equilibrium with regards to economy. On the other hand, the proof of stake does not require any super high-end cryptographic equations, and it does not require any high computing power to get the network up and running. So that entire electricity consumption and everything does not even come into picture in proof of stake. Now another big worry in proof of work is the 51% attack. Now what 51% attack is, if you have got mining power of 51% in any particular coin, you can actually change the blockchain and nobody else would know about it. Before anybody else even knows about it, you can take the money and run away. So that's where the 51% attack happens, and that has already happened with one of the coins, the Verge coin, that had a 51% attack, and the hacker took a lot of coins with him, and at that time I think it was roughly around $1.75 million. But yes, that has happened earlier, and it can happen again with smaller coins on a proof of work blockchain. Now this cannot happen in proof of stake because firstly, in proof of stake, to have a right to hold 51% coins, you need to purchase those 51% coins, and then after purchasing, you need to stake that entire 51% in a wallet and lock it up. You will not have rights to that unless the transactions have been verified. If you do any fraudulent activity at that time, you will anyways lose your entire 51% of stake or whatever you have put in. So whosoever does proof of stake mechanism, they cannot do any fraudulent activity. So there's no question of getting a 51% attack over there. So that is the major difference between the proof of work and proof of stake on the other side. Ethereum network, as I already said, is moving from proof of work to proof of stake. That's going to happen in the next 2 years. Right now, Ethereum fees is super high because of proof of work's limitation. Once it comes to proof of stake, it's going to be much more stable network, and the pricing is going to explode for Ethereum. That is what I believe. So this was the video. It went a little longer, but yes, I wanted to explain all the concepts about proof of work and proof of stake. If you have money invested in cryptocurrency, you should know all these stuff. You should know all these basics about how cryptocurrency work. I'm going to make further videos about different concepts in cryptocurrency, and I'm sure that's going to be helpful for you guys. If you got anything from this video, guys, just do like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you again in my next video, guys. Bye.